Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And sadly, I wouldn't be surprised if a growing number of police in South Africa become part of the problem when we talk about the crime levels in that country. Why are we talking about this? Well, the police are becoming more and more involved as active participants in crime. And I'll just tell you what we're talking about here. Add a bit of meat to the bone. On Thursday, 3 officers from the Tshwane Metro Police Department were arrested for extorting a bribe from a motorist in Pretoria. The officers had apparently told the man, a foreign national, that he was not allowed to drive around during the lockdown and threatened to impound his vehicle if he did not pay them 7,000 rand. The officers followed the man home to Bronkhorstspruit, a journey of roughly 50 kilometers, where they took a bribe of 3,500 rand. But police were tipped off and nabbed the officers at a petrol station later that day. During lockdown, enforcement police officers have wide discretion to interpret whether members of the public are flouting the regulations or not. Many reports of police assaults over the past few weeks have exposed how this discretion is abused in a country where police brutality is endemic. Lockdown conditions are also ripe for police corruption. Between April 2014 and March 2019, extortion and bribery allegations accounted for 2/3 of the 597 police corruption cases registered with the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, or IPID. Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal were the worst affected. Almost none of the officers accused in these cases were, or are likely to be, held accountable. Viewfinder perused a random sample of 100 of these cases. We found that the majority related to police soliciting bribes from members of the public to avoid arrest, to be freed from detention, or to have criminal charges against them dropped. In our sample, many cases related to the on-the-spot extortion during the policing of non-violent crimes, a category which now includes most lockdown contraventions. The sample contained 10 cases where people suspected of driving under the influence of alcohol were asked to pay a bribe to avoid arrest or prosecution. The amount allegedly asked by officers was generally between 1,000 rand and 3,500 rand, but as in the Bronkhorstspruit case, the police were often willing to negotiate downwards. In an incident from April 2018 on a road south of Mahikeng, police officers even gave a motorist change when he paid a 100 rand bribe with a 200 rand note. In other instances, police extorted people for breaking traffic rules on suspicion of being illegally in the country or for any one of a range of minor offences. The corruption often seemed banal. One woman complained that a sergeant at Mokopane police station in Limpopo had demanded food and juice to the value of 500 rand from her in order for him to investigate her case successfully. Another complained that officers in Mthatha were charging upwards of 10 rand a shot for certifying documents. The sample also contained complaints related to higher amounts of money, more calculated extortion, and the cover-up of serious crimes. In 2 instances, IPID received complaints from Kanyamanzani in Mpumalanga and Mayville in KwaZulu-Natal, wherein police officers allegedly phoned a prisoner's family and offered to make a pending rape case against their loved one disappear. The cops in this case solicited bribes of 10,000 and 14,000 rand respectively. In an inversion of this scenario, a Limpopo police officer tried to bribe a victim with 2,000 rand not to open a case against her alleged rapist. The officer was apparently punting the bribe on behalf of the rape suspect's mother. Other corruption allegations related to police receiving protection tax from drug dealers or being active participants in organized crime. A constable from Magwazi, Northwest, was accused of being a member of a stock theft ring. Around the world, COVID-19 lockdowns have likely damaged the bottom lines of criminals operating within the black market economy. Yet criminal syndicates and corrupt officers are bound to find new opportunities for graft as they try to benefit from border closures, commodity shortages, delayed court proceedings, and other disruptions caused by this global pandemic, the Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project has warned. In South Africa, the commodity shortage brought on by a ban on alcohol sales has created such an opportunity. At the weekend, Police Minister Becky Cele condemned a string of liquor store burglaries and lamented the emergence of syndicates of store owners working with criminals to push their stock. Arrests in the Western Cape and Mpumalanga showed that police officers formed part of these enterprises. In the Strand, 2 officers were arrested on Thursday for working with a store manager to facilitate the underhand sale of liquor. In Mpumalanga, 2 Pienaar police officers were arrested on Friday night when they were stopped for using a state vehicle to escort a tavern owner's 3 bakkies, each loaded to capacity with liquor. In Bonnievale, 7 police officers, 2 sergeants and 5 constables were arrested for attempting to burglarize a liquor store on Sunday. In a recent advisory, Transparency International cautioned that corruption often thrives during times of crisis, particularly when institutions and oversights are weak and public trust is low. South African waning levels of public trust in the police is coupled with high levels of police criminality and weak oversight and accountability mechanisms. Last year, it was exposed some of the cover-ups and challenges at IPID, which helps explain why the conviction rate for police officers accused of crimes is so low. A more targeted analysis of IPID data has revealed that police officers accused of corruption also rarely face consequences. During the same 5-year period under review, data shows that IPID investigations only resulted in 19 criminal convictions and 25 disciplinary convictions for corruption. This amounts to a ratio between intake and conviction that is roughly 15-1. For years, IPID management has hinted that the voluminous intake of cases outstrips its capacity to investigate effectively. During the tenure of former director Robert McBride, IPID developed an unofficial strategy to prioritize corruption cases involving senior police officers. Many within IPID believe that corruption at police management level set a bad example, which was followed down through the organization. It was hoped that tackling corruption at the top would dissuade extortion by the lower ranks. But with a current leadership vacuum and a number of recent suspensions at IPID, this strategy has apparently become compromised. In our sample of 100 extortion cases, 1 case stood out above the rest. It related to allegations of fraud, corruption, defeating the ends of justice, and racketeering against 3 top generals at the police service. It too is a case for which a court conviction remains unrecorded. So, this is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to police corruption. This is the tragedy in South Africa. The South African police service back pre-1994 used to be pretty darn good. Alright guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.